Hey, everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Josh Jordan. Hey, hit subscribe. Sports Map Texans. This is where you get your best Texans talk without all that bias from the other station. We are on ESPN 97.5, Josh and I, so we want you to listen there too. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp discussing who they'd take over CJ Stroud, a quarterback. They said Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen. Is that it for you?
That's it for me. If we're simply projecting here, which is what their conversation was about, it's not about what your career resume is or anything like that. So for me, there's no other quarterback I'd like to have. And it's kind of interesting. The following day, Jeff Saturday and Mad Dog were on with Stephen A., and they were arguing with him about this. And they said that's crazy. You should want Dak over him. You should want Stafford over him. But that's crazy to me.
What about Joe Burrow? I would want Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, now you've had a couple years where he's been injured, so they factored that in with maybe an injury issue. But those with me, I mean, look at Stafford. CJ had a better year than him this year. He'll be 36 next year. That doesn't make sense to me. And Dak, yes, he's been fantastic this year, but last year he led the league in interceptions in only 12 games. He had as many picks last year as Davis Mills had in 15 games. So even Cowboys fans after last year, they've been kind of out on Dak until this renaissance this season.
I'd want to see CJ do it against a better schedule, and he's going to get that next year. Against the first-place schedule, he'll be playing a lot better defenses. He'll be in much bigger games. He's going to be in a spotlight more as opposed to noon games every Sunday. He will have better weapons, too, though. I'm hoping that they get wide receiver. Tank comes back and is Tank again. And so maybe he's going to have better weapons. Maybe the offensive line will be healthier, too. I mean, I'm taking nothing away from CJ. But this is 1 year, and we're such a community of, oh, my God, this is it, and it's just definitive and everything else. Jalen Hurts, you would have said the same thing about Jalen Hurts last year, and where is he this year? So let's see him back this thing up before we're taking guys like Joe Burrow or Dak or other guys over him.
No, that's totally fair. We love potential so much as football fans. We're always looking for the next big thing, But to your point, CJ might take a step forward in year two, or the league could catch up with him a little bit. Who knows? But as we sit right now, I'd take CJ.
Yep. Okay, and, Mahomes has won 2 MVPs. Looks like Lamar's going to win his second MVP. Does CJ have multiple MVPs in him?
A lot has to go right around him, right? I think he's definitely got the tools and he's got the weapons, but you have to have a playoff team to even be considered for that kind of stuff. But they look like legit contenders going forward. And, even Lance on your show today said he thinks the Texans will be better than the Chiefs next year. Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case. If that's the case, I think Slowick staying could definitely factor into this as well, because obviously him and CJ work really well together.
I don't think Slowick staying. As a matter of fact, I think he's going to the Titans because Amy Strunk, whatever her name is, she is obsessed with the Houston Texans. And listen, we saw CJ get Frank Reich fired from the Panthers. Were the Texans responsible for Mike Vrabel getting fired?
I think that's part of it. Now, Case Keenum won that first game, but if we think about it in totality, they didn't like getting swept by Houston in the year they're wearing Oilers gear. And, you heard Hannah McNair kind of talking some smack after that. And it's something to keep in mind, but I will say this with Vrabel and the Titans front office, it's been rocky ever since they traded A.J. Brown. So I think this is something where there's been some friction for a while now.
Well, their GM lost his job because of that. And here's the deal, too, is behind the scenes they're saying that Vrabel not poo-pooing the idea of him taking over for Belichick is probably the biggest reason. Amy Strunk wanted him to say, oh, no, I'm the Titans coach, and he wouldn't do that, not even in the building. So maybe that led to them saying, you don't have a commitment to us, we're not going to have a commitment to you.
Yeah, and they saw how quickly the Texans turned it around.
Yep.
So they want to do the same.
And I'm telling you, it wouldn't shock me at all that Bobby Slowick is their next head coach.